The dead scientist story. If the missing dead scientist story is real, which, by the way, I've been reading about extremely suspicious, dead missing scientist since 15 years ago. Remember the one CDC researcher, 𝓤𝓮𝓮, who was killed on a morning jog and his body found in the lake near his house. No wallet or keys or phone taken, by the way, just killed and dropped in the water. And then later, his death was ruled a suicide after so much attention was drawn to the suspicious manner in which his body was found. Almost like to send a message. Why is the government and the mainstream media talking about it and drawing attention to it and investigating it? In all my time of having been aware of the deep state, evil government plots and conspiracies, etc., I have always noticed that when there was a legit big story, the very first thing that the government and their mainstream media Project Mockingbird proxies do is to completely bury it in any way they possibly can. It's happened more times than I can count, literally. At this point, I think we all understand that if we're trying very hard to bury and draw attention away from a story, then there's something real there that they definitely don't want you seeing or knowing about. So then, why is the government almost inviting eyes on this story? I definitely believe there was something suspicious about the dead, missing nuclear astrophysics researchers, because I've already been following the dead and missing health researcher Holistic Dr. Deaths, Dr. James Jeffrey Bradstreet, Georgia 2015, Dr. Bruce Hedendel, Florida 2015, Dr. Ronald Schwartz, Florida 2015. That was a big story in conspiracy circles since a decade ago. Countless reports of naturopathic and holistic doctors and health experts committing suicide or being killed in extremely suspicious ways, where there's absolutely no seeming motive for their killing whatsoever, with absolutely no reporting by the mainstream media and very little investigations doing by the police. Now, we're seeing something similar with the nuclear astrophysics world, but the difference is that the mainstream media has absolutely jumped on this story, with the government going so far as to officially have started an investigation into the deaths of these different scientists and researchers believed to have been involved in military intelligence and advanced energy weapons and UFO technology, etc. Recently, we learned about Amy Eskridge, astrophysics researcher and daughter of a retired NASA engineer, who was apparently doing research into anti-gravity technology, whose texts have recently been revealed, where she was shown to have suspected someone from military intelligence or the military-industrial industry, etc., to be stalking her, and she predicted her own death, warning in her text that she would be killed and framed as having committed suicide, and that other scientists' deaths were not suicides, and they were killed by someone in their industry or government. This was all revealed by a contact of hers, apparently from British military intelligence. In looking into this a little more, I found that after her suicide, her father said something along the lines of, "Scientists die all the time, and to stop looking too deeply into her death." Like, what? What kind of father says that about their own child? There are so many oddities to this story, and the fact that all of these UFO files have been released recently, the timing just seems so weird. Now our world-infamous FBI, who tried to cover up the Epstein files, is publicly investigating the case. All of these oddities cannot be a coincidence. I have one last thing I want to add, that's just something to think about in regards to all these missing and dead scientists. If you've ever looked into the Space Shuttle Challenger disasters from 1986, I don't know if it's still up, but ODD TV on YouTube did a mind-blowing expose on it. You've come to the realization that the government and the organizations that hold power in this country are extremely capable of bold-faced lying to the public in such a blatant manner that it's almost farcical. What are the odds of so many of the astronauts killed on the Challenger explosion having twin siblings or other people who just so happen to not only look identical to them, but also are in the same field doing the same work that the astronauts were involved in today? Could something similar be happening with these scientists and researchers? Would the government be willing to easily get rid of so many extremely valuable assets to them in terms of intelligence and technological development and research, etc.? It's something to think about. But what's most important is the why. Why are they releasing the UFO files now? Why are they purposefully drawing attention so much to these dead scientists and their suspicious deaths? It can't just be a simple matter of distraction, in my opinion. There's something big coming. The question is, what?